You know, you've got players like Saka and Odegaard on the pitch and Jesus, and you know, why can this team not play better football when they get the ball forward? Why can't they create chances? Why they struggle so much to create chances? Why they rely so much on set pieces? I'm not saying that set pieces is bad. I wish my team would score, but why is that the only way they can seemingly score? When can they start creating chances, man? Real lack of creativity in that team. And like I say, I think you've got to have a conversation about Odegaard, man. How this guy's captain of Arsenal for me is crazy. If I was the manager, it'd be Declan Rice all day long. Declan Rice is, in my opinion, 10 times the captain that Odegaard will ever be. So why is I just think the way he goes about the game.
You can lead by different ways. You don't necessarily have to be a rah yell and scream guy.
Yeah. Well, I'd prefer Declan Rice to be my captain if I was an Arsenal fan.
Who's your current captain?
Ours is Bernardo.
Who would you rather have as your captain instead of Bernardo?
Probably Rodri.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Declan Rice should be the captain, man. Odegaard, man. Like, bro, I forgot he's on the pitch at times, man. The guy just walks around, don't do nothing. What does he actually do? Yeah, he don't score goals. He don't create goals. What does he do?
Hey, it wasn't too long ago where he was having man of the match performances on a consistent basis. He's had a couple of poor results. We've had a couple of poor results recently, 3 games in the running in the Premier League, and he's had poor showings in all 3 of them. I don't think he's shown his best, but at the end of the day, he's still the captain. He's not going to be stripped of the captaincy. And if I'm not mistaken, second in charge is not Declan Rice. Third in charge is not Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is like 4th captain choice. So right now, I don't think you're going to disrupt the team by changing Martin Odegaard as the captain. You can definitely sit him and play Odegaard, or you could play Eze. You could definitely take him out of the firing line and put somebody else in there. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. But we are a much better side when Odegaard is at his best. When Odegaard's ticking and the team is going, what he does for the team is he's a metronome.
Yeah, but he's not at his best in a crucial part of the season.
Listen, it's January. You told me April, May is when people are worried about major issues.
Wait a sec.
It's too early to be panicking.
Wait a second, bro. You've just been in a position to effectively wrap the league up.
I'm still in a position to wrap the league up. Do you know who you're playing the next 2 weeks?
Brother, you've just had this. You just had the opportunity to do it, and you're captain.
And you've had the opportunity to catch me.
We'll speak about City in a second, bro. We'll speak about Arsenal. It's the Arsenal section. You've just had the opportunity to kill off the league effectively. Yeah, you could have been double digits clear. And what you're telling me is your captain is going missing in these games, getting hooked off. Yeah, because he's that crap and that irrelevant to the team performance. He's getting hooked, your captain, in a crucial part of the season. That is poor. That is poor. He should not have been. I seen a video going viral of I think it was it Tony Adams speaking about how Odegaard shouldn't be the captain. And this was I think this was pre-season. I don't understand why Arteta's kept this guy as the captain, man. It should be Declan Rice. Either that or Gabriel. Declan Rice, man, he never stops running. The guy marshals the midfield. He dies for the club, man, every time he steps out on that football pitch. He would be an absolutely fantastic captain for Arsenal, Declan Rice. Odegaard, man, nah. You can't be having a captain who's getting hooked off after 50 minutes in a massive game against United at home. Crazy to me.
Okay,
Crazy.
Last time I checked, you had a captain who barely played at times, who's injured, if I'm not mistaken, at one point. You don't necessarily have to be the player who's playing every single week who's the most important to be a captain. You don't need to be the best player on the team. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be the captain. You just have to be the player that people respect.
If you was a footballer for Arsenal, who would you rather your captain be in that dressing room? Declan Rice or Odegaard?
I'm not in that dressing room. I don't know what.
Answer the question. If you was a football player,
I can't answer the question because I don't know.
For Arsenal, who would you rather have as captain?
We don't know what Odegaard's like on a day-to-day basis in training.
Based on what we know, based on how we see them perform.
We can't give a fair assessment. I don't know him like that.
You're telling me you'd rather have Odegaard as a captain.
No, but LB, you don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. You want to know why?
I do know the answer. It'd be Declan Rice.
We're both coming up with our answers based on how we prefer a captain to be. But the reality situation is the players and the people in charge of the club have all come together and decided that this man's the captain. And the reason why they've decided that is because what they've seen within the dressing room, within the locker room, how he acts on the pitch, how he acts off the pitch. There's many different factors. It's not just, this is how a certain player acts on the pitch. That might not even be the the person they want to be the captain regardless. We don't know who these guys want to be the captain. All we know is this is the current captain.
Should be up to the
and I don't
players
think,
anyway. It should be up to
and
them.
I don't think if they're the ones choosing who the captain is, why does it matter if regardless you have Gabriel on the pitch, you have Rice on the pitch, you have Saka on the pitch, you have all these players on the pitch who also can lead. You don't necessarily need to be the captain to be a leader. We've seen Van Dijk be the captain, be the default captain when actually Jordan Henderson was the captain and he was the one doing the yelling.
But Jordan Henderson was a good captain.
Okay, regardless, if you want to, whichever example you want to give, we all seen teams that have multiple leaders on the pitch. You don't necessarily need to be the actual captain to be a leader on the pitch. You can lead by example, regardless if you're the captain or not. To me, I think this is a whole nonsense that we constantly keep bringing up the captaincy.
Is it a nonsense?
You can say,
how many teams have won the Premier League with
underperforming.
Crap
you can say somebody's underperforming without obviously having to constantly keep bringing it back to one thing.
No, it's not about bringing. It's about having an opinion. I'm asking you, how many teams have won the Premier League with a captain that isn't performing or it shouldn't be the captain? Like, look at the captains in the last 15 years, bro. Vincent Kompany. Yeah, Jordan Henderson. Yeah, Fernandinho. These are captains, man. Yeah, you had United. Who was yours, Terry? You had what? Was it Rio Ferdinand?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, our captain, Vidic and Rio and Rooney were the main three guys that were our captains.
Gary Neville won a couple of leagues with you as captain.
Good captain. These are leaders. Odegaard's not a leader.
We had Roy Keane before that, Gary Neville.
Odegaard. Listen to the names that I'm saying now, yeah? These are leaders, bro. These are leaders, man. Odegaard's not a leader.
As much as you want to say that, there's different types of leaders, okay? Odegaard is the safety blanket of the team. When he's on the pitch, he's one of the guys who helps us progress the ball. He's the one who, whenever anybody's in trouble, he gets the ball under control and doesn't lose it. He's one of the main guys in the team. Whenever anybody needs anything, he's one of the guys that they come to speak to. I don't think it's a situation where we need to sit here and start talking about changing the captaincy. If you want to say you prefer Declan Rice as the captain, so be it. A lot of people prefer that style of captain. But I don't think Arsenal's just going to come and change the captaincy.
What do you prefer as a fan then? What do you prefer? What type of captain do you prefer then?
I prefer somebody who's performing on a regular basis and showing the levels necessary. And at this moment in time, if you want to say Odegaard's not showing that, fair. But I personally would not change Odegaard as captain simply because I don't think it's helpful to do that mid-season.
Did he show it last year? Did he show it last year?
What?
Did he show it last year?
Last year, he was injured for majority of the season.
I'm checking it. He was injured for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier League games.
How many months was he actually injured for?
I've just told you he was injured for 7 Premier League games.
Over how many months span?
He was injured from the 15th of September to the 2nd of November. 7 Premier League games.
I don't believe it. He was impacted.
You don't believe it? It's literally on my screen, bro.
He was impacted way longer.
It's literally on my screen on transfer map. What are you talking about? You don't believe that? All right, so we've reached a new low here, guys. With Miguel. Transfer map is now lying about the games that he played last season.
Odegaard last season was impacted by injuries and was not himself until the back end of the season when we're in the Champions League late stages of the season. And personally, for me, I don't think everything everyone's saying, I hear it to a certain level when it comes to creativity, when it comes to this, when it comes to that. But I also have to give our opponents a level of respect because I do think the defending in the Premier League has gotten so much better. We can see it across the board how every team approaches the games. So many teams are playing better defensively, and they're better at they're setting up low blocks. They're better at stopping Man City and Erling Haaland from scoring. Erling Haaland hasn't scored in 9 games. Phil Foden hasn't scored in 11 games. Like, we're talking about Arsenal consistently having attacking issues, but it seems to be everyone across the board is scoring less goals and everybody's defenses are looking a little bit better. So as much as we criticize Arsenal, I think this is a league-wide thing where they've shifted to playing a more pragmatic style across the board, which is leading to more clean sheets across the board, which is leading to more 0-0s. And yes, Arsenal seems to be getting the most stick, the most criticism going to Arsenal, set pieces, defending. You know something? I think Manchester United and Chelsea have just as much set piece goals as we do, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a higher percentage of their goals reliant on those because we've scored more goals than them on as a totality this season. But guess what? Because Arsenal's at the top of the league, because everyone's kind of paying attention to our games, because everyone's watching our games, and yes, sometimes we don't score as many goals as the Cities and Liverpools have passed, and we do win games from set pieces or because of own goals like we did against Wolves. It's a level of criticism is put at Arsenal, which I don't think
on that. I want to put a graphic up on the screen here because I want to speak about this. How big a concern is this for you, Agal, when you look at the title race? Because when you actually break this down and look at it, Sky put some stats up. This has been repurposed by LiveScore, but no goals in the last 13 appearances in all comps for Saka. No goals in the last 13 Premier League appearances for Martinelli. No non-penalty goals in his last 11 Premier League appearances for Gyökeres. No goals in 25 Premier League games for Madueke, and only one goal in his last 11 appearances for Trossard. When it comes to this title race, we'll move it on from the game. When we look at this title race now, are you concerned about these numbers, and what do you think Arteta and Arsenal are going to do to rectify this?
Terry, is there a concern about players underperforming throughout the season? I don't think so. I think they've cherry-picked statistics to make these guys look worse than they actually are. I do think that. Because when you think about it, Martinelli has not been consistently starting in the Premier League. He's been starting more in the Champions League and in the Cups. In those competitions, he scored some bangers. He's been consistently scoring in the Cups. Nani Madueke single-handedly won us a game in the Champions League from his man of the match performance. But we're consistently looking at goals in the Premier League, 13 appearances. Goals, they don't tell you how many minutes they've played. They don't tell you if they've started how many games from those games. When it comes to Gyökeres, what does it say? Open play goals. Erling Haaland in his last 9 games has 0 open play goals. He scored 1 goal versus Brighton. Is Erling Haaland all of a sudden having an underperforming season? Are we looking at him as a fraud?
No, he isn't. What I would say to you as a challenge on that, though, is that yes, this weekend City have closed that gap slightly. But due to Haaland's lack of goals and due to his teammates' lack of goals, you guys did have the chance to go 9 and 11 points clear. So my question is to you, are you not concerned that if the goals don't start to improve from these players in the Premier League, we could fast forward 2 weeks and you might be only a point ahead of City, or City could be a point ahead of you because of those lack of goals from Haaland, you had the chance to go 11 points clear. Lack of goals from City in general. Don't you share that same concern? And if so, how do you see it being improved? What can you do to get more goals out of these players, Igal?
Terry, Saka is still producing man of the match performances without getting goals and assists. Look at the game against Fulham. Look at the game against Wolves. I'm not worried about Saka. Gyökeres, we need to see better, but I do think the whole team needs to do better at creating better chances for the likes of Gyökeres, Jesus, Trossard. I thought Trossard's been doing well. I don't know where they just cherry-picked this stat once again for him. And then Nani Madueke and Martinelli, we know their backups. I'm not too concerned about them and their Premier League numbers. When they start games in the Champions League, they play well. Overall, Terry, I'm more concerned about the overall patterns and how we create chances rather than individual scoring goals, because we're going to spread out the goals throughout the whole team. If we win the league and we have every single player on 9 to 10 goals, I don't really mind. We're not going to have a 20-goal scorer.
Okay, and no one's saying you should. And yes, Martinelli's doing very well in the Champions League, and some of these players have scored in the Champions League. But no one's really criticizing your Champions League campaign. I actually think when you watch Arsenal in the Champions League, even when you watch Arsenal in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea, you look a different team. I feel like there is an element of pressure that your fan base is part of the problem here. And I know I don't want to sound like an Arteta outer. And what I mean by that is, it's the guys that are normally supportive. You guys have a bad couple of games and the panic that sets in. People go on about heritage, and it's become like the buzzword heritage. What I've always viewed heritage as being, part of it is fan base is staying relaxed. Part of it is fan base is knowing you can turn things around. If you listen to the Santiago Bernabeu and all those Champions League games from a couple of seasons backwards, yes, they would whistle at bad things. They put pressure on their team, but there was never any anxiety in the stadium because they knew their team was capable at any minute of turning it around. When I listen to Arsenal fans at the moment, you can see it coming out of people. And I feel like that's an issue. I think I don't think you're going to have a problem knocking Chelsea out of the League Cup. You're going to play this dead rubber for you in the Champions League. You're probably going to score 4 or 5 goals and look really good. But the league has got those league games. Your players cross that white line in the league games. The players and your fans collectively. And I think fans are important here. If people don't want to think fans are important in football, you do you. But the behavior on socials, the behavior in the stadium, there's a nervousness in those games. There isn't in the others. So for me, that's why these stats are important in the short term, because those players collectively have got to get back to scoring goals. That's the way because even if City keep messing up, if those guys don't start scoring goals, you're not going to take an advantage. And by the way, mate, I want you to win. I don't buy into this narrative that Arsenal are crap and shit or anything like this. But we can't ignore the last 3 or 4 games. We can't ignore it as a talking point. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that Arsenal fans have to let all this PTSD come out. There's a balance here, personally, for me, looking on the outside in.
100%. And I don't like the apocalyptic approach to every single drop point. It's do or die. Everything's done. It's honestly ridiculous. We've had a little blip, 3 games in a row where we have drop points. Man City have had 4 games in a row where they've dropped points, and they've kind of simultaneously happened around the same time. So people are more freaking out. But my main thing is, look at it this way. Game week 18, City were 2 points behind us. Now they're 4 points behind us, and they have tougher fixtures in the next 2 games. We have an opportunity to go and beat Leeds away from home, play our next game. I think is it Brentford or Sunderland at home? One of them. I think it's Sunderland at home. If we win those 2 games, we're going to be good. And my main thing, Terry, I think a lot of the fan fiction around social media is Arsenal going to bottle it. Arsenal going to bottle it. Arsenal's demise is coming, this and that. They're just waiting for us to drop off. That's not coming this year, because I think the squad depth is going to see us through, regardless what people say about Nani Madueke and all these other guys. They were helping us win games when a lot of our key players were out of the team. When a lot of our key players were out of the team earlier in the season, and we're still getting results. Now that we have a fully fit squad going forward, I just see our quality throughout the team is going to get us through. When it comes to the past seasons, bottling in the past seasons, we've already spoken about those. I don't think that has anything to do with this, but the fans need to start acting like it, because we have the quality, we have the players, we have guys like Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Saka. These guys are not quitters. They're not just going to give up on us. We're not playing with Rob Holding, Eddie Nketiah, and these guys anymore. So stop acting like every single drop point is a referendum on the whole entire club, and start backing the team, because I do think the nervousness comes from the style of play slightly, and that can be fixed also from Arteta and the boys out there on a regular basis. But as a collective, if we don't support them, who's going to get them through these tough games? I remember a couple of years ago, Saliba made a mistake, gave away a goal, an own goal. Everyone got up and started clapping him. He does that today, they're booing him.